Well, boys, this is kind of the kickoff, the unofficial start of the second half of the Premier League season. You should tune in. This will be a good one. This is Red Card Radio. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever you're listening from. Thanks for tuning in. Red Card Radio is a weekly look at the Premier League from three friends who support different clubs. My name is James. I support Arsenal. With me tonight, that is Brad over there. He supports Chelsea. Down below, that's Sean. He supports Tottenham. Boys, good day. Hello, how are you?
Yeah, ready to take on the metaphorical second half of the season.
Now, just a little bit before we get into that, there is some standing business that we have to talk about with the FA Cup. But before we do all that, before we jump into this week's episode, if you could hit that subscribe button, ring the sub notification bell, drop a comment down below on this video. Let us know what you guys are thinking. Follow, rate, review, all that good stuff on the podcast sites. And if you could hit the share button and share this with a friend, all those things really do help us out tremendously. You guys will bear with me for just a second, but I bring up the FA Cup because I have a Buffalo Wild Wings bone to pick.
Ooh.
With you,
Right.
Sean.
Ooh.
Why is that?
If you have them handy, could you refer to my sheet of integrity, please? It's around there somewhere. Just pick up a paper and flap it flamboyantly. They don't even have to know. Yeah,
because he knows what his picks are.
So, at the beginning of the season,
You're wrong.
I was the only person bold enough to pick Tottenham to win a trophy this year. I picked Tottenham to win the FA Cup, and you have the audacity to lose in the fourth round. Explain yourself.
Well, you know the saying that one man's trash is another man's treasure.
Okay.
You're bold. Your bold is what me and Brad would call stupid.
Yes. Yes. Why would you think such a thing of Tottenham to win a trophy?
Well,
Yeah.
you see, I also said that they would finish 8th in the Premier League, and that's not looking like a good prediction either. So,
I don't think we've made it to a round of the FA Cup that begins with anything other than round of in about 20 years.
Now,
we have quarterfinal, semifinal, final. Those don't exist. We are round 3 or round 4, and that's it.
So, quick question. I do believe that your pick for the FA Cup is also out. Is that not right, Sean?
Yeah.
Did I pick Arsenal?
Yeah, you picked Arsenal.
Yeah, you picked
Okay,
Arsenal.
yeah.
And it was funny because when you said that, I just got the biggest grin on my face because I was like, this guy is going to crack up when he hears my pick. All right. Loyal listeners, friends of the podcast, that's literally all we're going to say about the FA Cup.
Wait, Chelsea's still in it. We got to put that part in there.
Barely.
No, you guys still have a replay.
You have a replay, dude.
Yeah, it doesn't mean we're out this round yet.
Yeah, but
we lasted one more game than you guys.
You lasted 2 more games than Arsenal, but you have to go to Villa Park now and play Unai Emery
Fortress.
and the squad at Villa Park. So good luck with that, bro. Enjoy that schedule congestion.
Bro, when this pod drops, it'll be our 3rd game in like 8 days or 9 days.
And it's not stopping.
And we're not in Europe. This is crazy.
To be fair, Arsenal will have played 2 games in January, which is rather
nice.
Sad. So anyway.
No, it's going to be so much better for you guys come February, March.
I mean, if all of our players can get back healthy and we can make a run at the second half of the season, yeah, absolutely. Anything can happen. Okay. So, yeah, if you're interested in the FA Cup, hit a quick Google search to see if your team's still in it. I saw Wrexham went out today. So, RIP Wrexham.
The run is done.
The run is done. You guys can all find out about that in about 12 months on Welcome to Wrexham season 3 or 4 or whatever season they're on. Okay, so the Premier League. It's a football competition between 20 teams, and they play in the British Isles. Okay, that joke obviously didn't land.
No, not at all. We just
so we are roughly Sean and I were talking about this before at the start of this podcast, before we started recording. that it kind of feels like while we have played more than half of the games, it kind of feels like this is the unofficial start to the second half of the season. Would you kind of concur with that thinking, Brad?
Yeah, 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 yeah. I feel that too.
Especially with the way AFCON's been and with this winter January break and the Asian Cup, like it seems like we've been in a lull for the last 3 weeks, because we have
Yeah.
been, because it was FA
Yeah.
Cup, Premier League break, FA Cup. Like we've had like a month of no Premier League action, which has been very strange for January. I'm not sure I'm a fan of it. Um, maybe
Well,
if
the
Arsenal hadn't,
players finally got some rest,
yeah, true that,
somewhat.
which is good. Maybe if Arsenal didn't suck and didn't get knocked out of the FA Cup, then it wouldn't have been so
Yeah.
bare. But okay, we'll start. We'll prime this. We'll pull up the league table for everyone to take a look at if you're on YouTube. We won't read it verbatim. So if you're on one of the podcast sites, you can pull up the league table as we kind of going over. But of course, Liverpool are first. They are 3 points. Well, they're 5 points clear of both City and Arsenal, but City still have a game in hand. They've only played 20, whereas everyone else in the top four have played 21. Villa also on 43 points. So 5 points separate first and fourth. Tottenham are in that fifth place position. Then the top half, Chelsea are finally up into the top half, along with Newcastle. United and Brighton and Hove and West Ham take over the other spots. But if we look all the way at the bottom, it's the recently promoted teams. It's Luton, Burnley, and Sheffield. Now we mentioned, I don't know when this was, a few weeks ago, when the Premier League announced their next round of profitability and sustainability rulings, that there were proceedings levied against Everton and Nottingham Forest. Of course, Everton already had that 10-point deduction this season. So the bottom half of the table, the relegation zone, while it seems like Sheffield United are probably pretty dead, if Forest lose 10 points, and then if Everton lose another 10 points because of another breach, Everton are in the thick of it. And so that relegation situation could get very, very interesting.
Yeah. Everton's at the bottom with 7 points in that case.
Do you think that they could overcome losing 20 points and stay up?
I mean, it's possible. They would be put down. They would be put down to 7. They're still 9 points from safety. Well, I guess at that point they just have to get past Burnley, so they're 5 points from safety.
Well, they'd have to catch whoever's
That would,
in
yeah,
17th.
that would bump Luton to 17th, put Everton at the bottom. So they're just trying to
Well,
catch Burnley at
well, no,
that point.
because Forest is still 10. Because Forest is going to go down to 10
If
points.
you're saying if they both, okay,
Yeah.
all right. So
Um,
they're still just trying to catch Sheffield. Yeah, then they're 3 points from safety. Yeah. So
no, they're trying to catch Burnley. You were still correct. They're still trying to catch Burnley. Burnley would be 17th.
yeah,
But like,
so it's possible.
man, but that's assumed. So like, what's the safe number? Well, like if they can, like
I mean,
35 points, right?
yeah, generally you say you're safe at 40.
Right.
But in other seasons, I forget what it was last season would have been the
Hold
safe.
on. I got you.
I got it too.
Speaking of which, before we move on from that point,
35 points would be
Safe
safe.
last year.
I believe, James, that around this time last year, we made the same remark that 40 points is about safe, and Chelsea were around the 30-point mark, and
Yes.
barely. It took them 3 months to get above 40. Which, by the way, cheers, James. We're safe. But
Thank you. That was
oh,
I
No,
knew where you
yes.
were going with
Like,
that.
yeah.
Chelsea
I don't think
stayed
that's
at
gonna be that way here.
Chelsea stayed at what, like 31 points or something like that for like
yeah,
12 weeks or something like that. It was insane.
Yeah. It
yeah,
was
yeah.
stupid.
They're on 31 now. That's what made me think about it when you guys said that.
Um,
We were on 30 at this time last year.
Now,
I just
Sean,
looked.
you also made the bold prediction last year that you thought that the relegation fight would be more interesting than the battle for top four. I think
Sean
that's
Strickland saw the
you
point
saw,
deductions I saw all the point deductions. I knew all of this was coming, that we would have three losers duking it out at the bottom, and then administration coming in to throw Forest and Everton to the wolves down there. And we've got a 5-man octagon going on for 3 spots heading down. Yeah. No, I've made that prediction based off
It was spot on last year.
I thought it would be the same way this year because everyone's buying people.
Yeah.
It's not just the top 6 trying to get, it's not just elbow room at the Champions League table. I mean, Forest last year were out of control. Everton have made some moves. A bunch of those bottom teams made moves to make sure they could stay up.
Yeah.
And it makes the bottom a little bit more spicy because, man, I don't want to go to any of those teams. I don't want to go to Forest. Like, they're scrapping right now.
Yeah, Forest is traditionally generally a hard place to play. Now we haven't. It's weird. Forest is in a weird place because they obviously stacked Cooper, and now they have Nuno as their manager. They got Nuno. They saved Nuno from Saudi Arabia after he'd been sacked there. So they bring him back to England, and he's gotten some results recently for Forest.
2
They
wins.
won. Who did they beat? They beat Newcastle, and then they beat Manchester United. Now, of course, they lost to Brentford before the winter break, but they've gotten some results recently.
Well, after, but yeah.
Was it after? Was it legally after?
It was the 20th.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess it was after. They were on they had the first. They had the second
First week
break.
off.
No.
Yeah. The first break. This was FA Cup weekend. That's why you're screwed up.
Oh, that's right. Arsenal played on the 20th too, didn't we?
Yes.
Yeah, we beat Palace. Okay, I'm tracking now. All right.
Yeah, we played the first week because we were the 13th.
But what my point was going to be is that it seems like it doesn't seem like the fight for the Champions League positions in England are going to be that interesting. It really is going that final place is really just going to come down to Tottenham, Arsenal, and Villa probably. Like 2 of those 3 teams are going to get the last 2 spots.
Yeah, we're already starting to wedge a gap there. If we go on past, if we can go from the table on past performances, Moyes and the boys should fall down slightly. And we've already wedged a 5-point gap there.
Yeah.
And if they go back to Brighton and United, now we've got an 8-point gap. So we're already starting to wedge that little continental shelf between 5th and 6th, which will be important for that race.
Yeah. And so it really will boil down to 2 of those 3 teams sticking it out. Now, there was some talk at the beginning of the season about whether or not England would end up with a 5th Champions League spot due to coefficient, but it seems unlikely for that to happen unless I think that there is maybe still a route for it to happen, but it requires a lot of English teams to win everywhere. So like I think we would need.
I think it's already been decided. I think we're 4 spots.
I feel like there's still a shot. I think if like we win the Conference League, we win the Europa League, and then like we have an all English final in the Champions League, I think that there's a possibility. I might be wrong.
I don't know what.
You might be right, Brad. I don't know, but I feel like there's still a
I
possibility.
think they already did it, and we finished 3rd by we, I mean England finished 3rd by like 0.05 or 0.03. It was super close.
It just doesn't make a ton of sense to me, really. When you all right, and this is just off the top of my head, last 5 years, right?
Yeah.
We've got Liverpool championships with Tottenham in the final in 19. Mm-hmm. You've got a City and a Chelsea Champions League final in the last 5 years, correct?
Yep.
So that's 3 of the last 5 are English, including a runner-up.
And
that's
that year,
2 runner-up because Chelsea beat a Premier League team, didn't they?
Yeah,
we beat Arsenal in Europa League. We beat
and Chelsea will have a Europa.
And we beat City in Champions League final.
And West Ham have a conference.
And the year that we finished in the Champions League, it was an all English semifinal in the Europa League too.
Yeah, so and Arsenal have a Europa, right?
No.
In the last
they lost to Chelsea.
Then it was United. It was United that I'm thinking of.
United was like 10 years ago or something like that. United.
Whenever Jose was there last. Jose won that.
Jose was the last 5 years at United. Anyways, we're getting bogged down. But what I'm saying is, how could England not get the coefficient that they
because
need.
all the
I don't.
teams dropped out.
I just it just boggles my mind a little bit. I don't understand how they
This
have
year was
not
not a great year
met
for
whatever quota.
English. Like,
They won in 16-17.
Oh,
United.
okay, so yeah, a few years outside.
It's like
But anyways,
it's like almost 10 years from now.
so
but
United
either
bombs
way,
out.
it's 3 out of the last 5 champions, including a runner-up. There's a Europa in there, and there's a conference in there. So that's out of
Yeah,
15
but
champions, there's a third of them are from England. I
yeah,
don't
but
understand how the coefficient
Italy
doesn't allow.
Italy has been really consistent, I think, about progressing into the group stage, out of the group stages in all the competitions, and so like it's having teams drop out of Europe entirely. United, both Newcastle and Manchester United dropped out of Europe entirely, didn't they? Or did
Yeah,
United drop down
Yeah,
to the Europa League?
no,
no,
they both dropped out.
Yeah, like that's just killer. That's really bad for the coefficient. But
And
either way,
um,
I think my major point was just that like the Champions League fight is probably not going to be super interesting in England,
yeah, I agree.
but the Europa League and the Europa League fight will be pretty interesting.
Yeah, right now we're shaping up West Ham 35, Brighton 32, United 32, Chelsea 31, with Newcastle hopefully on the bounce here coming soon. They're on 29.
Well, they're just so injury ravaged.
and and I don't think
Yeah,
they can add anybody because Mickey doesn't want to go to Saudi.
Yeah,
yeah, they've lost 4 in a row to be in 10th where they are.
exactly. So, and I think they have, is that Villa next? Is that what it
No,
says?
yeah, they have Villa next.
Yeah, at Villa Park. That could be 5 in a row.
Yeah,
So if we think about 5th, 6th Europa League, 7th Conference League, there's going to be some disappointed teams if they don't like because all 5 of those teams, they've just looking. If we look Villa, Tottenham, West Ham United, Brighton and Hove, Manchester United, Chelsea, all of them feel like they should be in Europe, right? And I think Tottenham probably kind of can conservatively say that they're going to be in Europe at some level, right? With what they've played so far and how they've played this season. I think it's fair to say that Tottenham will be either in the Champions League or the Europa League. I think that's a fair assumption, yeah.
It would be categorically disappointing if we were not.
If you guys finished 8th at this point, it would be monumentally bad.
yes,
For
Um,
everyone except for you.
I would love it.
I would be ecstatic if that happened
I
because
would love it.
that's where I picked him to be. Chelsea, on the other hand, let's look at Chelsea on like conversely. Like if Chelsea somehow were to finish 6th and get that last Europa League spot, I think that Chelsea would feel
That's a
amazed.
yes, and a cup final. I think that's an awesome season.
I mean, a real cup or a Mickey Mouse cup?
I mean, are you guys in either of the cups? So I think they're both real cups.
I'm I'm still playing for the Champions League, bro.
Have you won an
Some of
Audi
the
Cup
English
final?
cups.
Or-
Um, but okay, sure. Like yes,
But
obviously a trophy's a trophy,
and
but
also,
you're gonna
and
get
also, let's
yeah.
say we beat Pool in the final.
That's a big
Have
assumption.
you well, yes, I understand with the whole Klopp news that yes, that becomes a huge assumption. But have you seen like the last 10 games of Liverpool versus Chelsea?
Just 0-0.
It's like 0-0, 1-1, 0-0, 0-0, 1-1, 1-1, penalties, penalties, penalties.
I'm just
So it's
saying.
a coin flip.
I'm not sure that's going to be the case this year. Well, actually, that's actually
But
really good because we're going to see on Wednesday.
we
we're
will. We
we're going to
will.
see on Wednesday when
Wednesday's
you get
very interesting. Yeah. Yeah, we're of course Chelsea is the first game after Klopp's announcement
yeah. But at
at
least
Anfield.
it is at Anfield. I
It's
would
Anfield.
I wouldn't mind if you guys got a result in that match. I'm just saying.
I would love
Um,
it.
It's
but like
awful.
I guess what I'm saying is like if we just like if we flip like when we're thinking about Tottenham, we expect them
Expectations.
we're expecting them to finish in Europe at this point. If we think about Chelsea at the beginning of the season, like I don't think finishing in Europe for Chelsea was a realistic expectation after 15 games. But after 21 games, I think that conversation changes slightly
Oh
because
yeah.
you've been playing much better over the last 6 weeks, six
Yeah.
games, I should say. It's 6 weeks, but You
we're
guys
almost
you guys
healthier.
navigated the Christmas period very well.
Mhm. We started to pick up steam. We're starting to get healthy. Um, yeah. Um, I think, but I don't think sixth is crazy for us to be there,
It's
right? Because
clearly not.
like
You're not that
if
far
if
off.
we're if we're looking at those at the 5 teams, right? Tottenham, West Ham, Brighton, United, Chelsea. Out of the out of those 5 teams, the 2 teams that like I expect to fall off would be West Ham and United. Would be the Uniteds to finish below the other 3
You think
teams
Manchester United would fall off?
and West Ham.
You think interesting? Okay. Uh, okay.
Manchester United
I'll let you finish
haven't
your
looked
thought.
good all year, so I can agree with that.
Yeah, yeah. Like Manchester United has been such like a freaking roller coaster.
But
Um,
but they've also had massive injury issues, right?
at the back,
Mm.
yeah,
Like
at the back.
their center back pairing, their
Well, they
world
have
renowned
Onana
center
in goal
defensive
though.
midfielder. Yeah, but I mean, like, sure, like I am one to enjoy a good Onana meme, but you take away his center backs, like the center backs that they were preparing in the season with, and like I think it's a very different story for United. I know that we like to meme on United, but I don't think they're as bad as everyone wants to make them out to be.
I think they are.
And I think there's going to be a ton more pressure on Ten Hag too, with the new
Then
ownership
Pochettino,
group and everything. Yes,
what it kind of seems to me that like the pressure goes away when you have a new owner. You're probably going to get fired anyway because the new owners are going to want to bring in who they want to bring in. So like you're just kind of playing with house money. Like if you do well, it's
Well,
because
it's
you're a good manager. If you get sacked, you're like it was going to
it's
always happen.
it's not really a new owner, is it? I mean, he bought
It's
well,
like a
no,
quarter.
he's
The owners just put on a new mask and said, "Don't say bad things about us," but we still own 75% of the club. Like
but
it's
they
not
don't have
really a new
sporting
owner.
control.
yeah, it go for it, bro.
They do not have sporting control, so it's like the GM now has 25% ownership.
Yeah, essentially like think about it this way, like
The
um
Glazers
what's
are the piggy bank.
what's the name of the company that
Ineos.
owns Tottenham? The
Oh,
old
Enos. Yeah.
is it
huh?
Enos? That
It's
owns
not
Tottenham.
Ineos.
Yeah. Right.
Who's
Oh,
the
oh,
No.
ENIC.
ENIC? Yeah, Enoch,
Yeah,
right?
Enoch.
So you got the old head who just got charged
Joe
and
Lewis.
convicted of
Yeah.
insider trading, Joe
Yep.
Lewis. So he is the big head honcho. He is the Joe Glazer in this situation. But
Yes.
then here you got
Levy owns like
you got
23.4% or
yeah,
something, some like
and
ridiculous amount.
Levy makes all of the footballing decisions. That's what's happening with United is that the Glazers still are the principal owners, but they gave the sporting control over to the new guy, Ratcliffe.
Yes.
Um,
And
and
Ineos.
yeah, and so they're going to bring in all of their team and all of their analytics stuff, and they're going to do all of their sporting related stuff. Um, so
I
that's
don't know.
just
I
I
think Chelsea finished above both of those teams.
okay. So do you think they finish above Brighton?
I think it's a very, very strong possibility, and I wouldn't be surprised either way.
I mean, you're only 1 point behind Brighton, so it's not.
Right.
It's
And
not.
Brighton's injured and like they don't have a deep squad.
No, I
And so like
mean it's because you guys
and they're still in
you bought
Europe.
all their players.
Right. And they're still in Europe. And so who knows? And then Deserby's gonna start hearing about Liverpool or Barcelona. So
So I guess we kind of
yeah.
ought to mention this manager situation here. So earlier this week, I guess it was yesterday, Monday morning. Wait, was it Sunday morning? I don't remember. At some point, Jurgen Klopp made an announcement that he is going to be leaving Liverpool at the end of the season. He was contracted through June of 2026, but he has decided to leave Liverpool this summer at the conclusion of this year. Um, what's your initial reaction to that, guys?
Yes. Yay. Sorry. But like look, as fans of the Premier League, it is sad to see a great manager leave. But as a fan of Chelsea, yes, let's see what all happens without Klopp because apparently Van Dijk is out. Van Dijk was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Well, yeah, and that's a big thing. Like how many of these players were we were talking to Tam Zeed? How many of these players were bought with the understanding that Klopp would be there through 2026?
Right.
Like Alexi McAllister, who came in this summer, like he was probably expecting Klopp was going to be around for a while.
How do you keep Salah?
Maybe you
Or
don't.
their
Maybe you don't want to. I don't know.
or Dom, what was like Labinski was bought this year too.
Oh, Salaba,
Sabalaza.
Sabalaza.
Sabalaza. Yeah, Sabalaza. Yeah. They bought a whole new midfield for Klopp. And Klopp is like, you know what? I don't have the energy for this no more.
So I agree with your sentiment, Brad, in the sense that like I am as a rival fan, as someone who's competing with Liverpool, I am I am pleased that they probably will have a worse manager next year than they have this year. Like their coach will probably not be as good because Jurgen Klopp is
Yes.
arguably one of the best coaches in the entire world.
Yes.
Um,
We
and
all I
so
think I think that's universal. We all agree on that statement.
yeah, he's definitely top five.
Yeah, he's annoying to play against.
Yeah, right. Just generally speaking, and so, but at the same time, is any part of you concerned that say Klopp leaves this year, Pep leaves the year after, like England has been known to have like premier top of the like shelf managers. Like, who are those guys going to be?
I
I
mean,
mean, we'll
the
find them. Like, we
okay,
found.
so
I'm just throwing that. I'm just these are the talking points that I see on the internet. I'm presenting them to you so we can have a conversation about it. Don't attack the messenger.
I mean,
um
yeah.
I mean, let's think about it though. Like, so let's take Klopp and Pep out. Who are your top 5 managers managing right now?
Yeah, Brad, who are the top five managers in the Premier League, excluding Klopp and Pep? That's an interesting question.
Like that's what. Well, no, no. Let's
I
just do
would
the
like
whole
to.
world.
I'd like the whole world
Yeah, I mean, Unai automatically goes to the top, right?
in the Premier League.
He's
The
up
world, he
there.
says. In the world, he says.
If you're taking out Pep and Klopp right now in this time, yeah, I think you would have to put Unai up there with
I
what
mean,
he's done with Aston Villa,
Ancelotti. Uh, I think Spalletti is a shout. I mean, obviously Spalletti's not in the team right now, but like, um, there were some other ones.
right?
You could probably make an argument for Tuchel.
Yeah, I'd hear that and understand it, but like he might be like this generation's Jose, and that he's only going to last 2.5 years, 3 years, and you have to know that going into it.
He lasts 7 years everywhere he goes. Well, this time he lasted 8.
Who are you talking about?
Tuchel,
Thomas
Tuchel,
Oh,
Tuchel?
Tuchel. Oh, I thought
Not
you guys were
Tuchel,
still talking about Klopp.
Tuchel. Klopp lasts 7 years. Klopp lasts a while. Um,
Yeah, Tuchel. Yeah, short run.
I mean,
I mean
obviously,
Ten Hag's not there. Poch,
I would.
Deserby.
Postecoglou.
I was gonna say Arteta, but you know.
But
Yeah,
like it's really wide open. Like we can't think of
Well, that's a
anybody besides those
I think
two,
that's a good
right?
question. Like, if we were just gonna pick Premier League managers, like who rises to the top in the Premier League?
Unai.
I mean, that's Unai, Ainge, Arteta, Deserby. Is
Interesting.
Moyes in there?
Moyes is a roller coaster,
Thomas Frank, Roy Hodgson.
Right. Well, Roy Hodgson didn't even have a job in a
Are
week.
you
That's
just
a
are you
question.
just trying to name all of the
Eddie,
managers?
Eddie Howe.
I mean, Eddie Howe would probably like
Right?
if Newcastle can get it back together. That's a good question. I don't know.
Like, look. We there are there world class, and the idea that of a world class manager is, I think, different. And at this, like,
I'm
we're
thinking.
seeing the rise of the world class managers. We don't have like there isn't world class managers out there, quote unquote.
I mean, to be fair, like I'm thinking like Sir Alex Ferguson, Arsene Wenger, Jose Mourinho. Like these are the guys that
Ancelotti, because he was
yeah,
back then
yeah.
too.
Ancelotti was in the
Yeah,
Premier League. Like I'm talking like these types of guys. Like now, obviously,
which
Arsene Wenger was nobody. He came from the J League before he became the professor, right?
yeah.
Like
Now
Sir
give it
Alex Ferguson.
3 years.
Sir Alex Ferguson was not Sir Alex Ferguson when he came to United. Like he got knighted because of his job at United. Like, you know what I mean? It's like these. Obviously, I'm saying that there's room for people to make themselves.
Which I think is what we're seeing. I think when we look back 3 years, 5 years from now, we'll be like, wow, look how deep of a manager pool was still in the Premier League after Pep and Klopp.
Okay, I think that's fair.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no,
Like
I see what you're
I'm not
saying.
like I there's world class talent yet to be like celebrated as world class talent.
I mean, I would agree that like there are a lot of promising young managers in the Premier League.
Which is what it's become because it's too expensive to have the world class managers. Like,
Well, it's too expensive to fail with the world class manager, right? Because the world
right.
class manager costs you a lot of money,
Yes.
and then failing. I mean, I'm fairly certain that Pochettino is probably one of the best paid managers in the Premier League.
No, right. Well, I was saying like as the history of Chelsea
Yeah,
is expensive.
yeah.
I think it's pretty fair to say that the J League is the best way to have a world class manager. You just find you a manager that managed in
You're
Japan,
saying
possibly.
at one point managed in
Yeah. Oh
Japan.
yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah. Arsene Wenger, Postecoglou. I mean, the list goes on.
I would argue that the important component is hiring them directly from the J League.
No, I don't think that's entirely necessary.
no, yeah.
Of
They
course you
got to get
don't.
some seasoning elsewhere. You know, you want them to have like a worldly view of football.
Seasoning, like
Yes.
Yeah,
like in
Cultured.
okay, never mind.
Scottish, Australian,
Yeah,
Japanese.
well, what kind of seasoning are
national
we getting there?
some national team experience.
Some
Uh,
haggis.
I do have an important update heading into the back half of the season.
Okay.
Is um, we are getting Sar back early. Senegal is out,
Yes, we got Nico back. Nico's coming home.
and we are rooting for the fighting Burkina Fasos because that will send Basuma back. So
Ridiculous.
if Mali loses, which by the way they're neighbors. Mali is the longest border to Burkina Faso. Um, so they share, yeah, it's Burkina Faso's longest border is with Mali, although Mali's longest border is with Mauritania, because
Wow,
it's an enormous country, by the way.
this
Um,
th- this
This is
has to be the
actually
greatest Sean geography segment that has ever
that was
happened.
it.
Sean geography is unrivaled everywhere
Yeah,
except for England.
yeah, exactly. So we're rooting for the neighbors to the southeast of Mali, Burkina Faso. We need Basuma back in the squad.
So what about the Asian Cup? What's South Korea doing?
South Korea is in the knockout stages. I did
Come
not
on
have
now.
that pulled up. Um,
It's gonna be Japan versus South Korea. We all know this. The final.
Okay,
That's the final.
they are in opposite sides of the
so it's
bracket.
possible. Okay, good. I mean,
So
not good because I'd like Tomiyasu back, but
South Korea has a knockout game with Saudi Arabia tomorrow, or my apologies, Tuesday at 11 a.m. In case you're wondering, or you have already watched it.
yesterday then.
Japan will have already taken on Bahrain this morning at 6:30 a.m. So hopefully you watch that as well. That appears to be the round of 16. So we'll go into the quarters. Already in the quarters is Tajikistan. Congratulations. I have to imagine that's their first quarterfinal in the Asian Cup. Jordan, Australia also punched a ticket to the quarterfinals. Qatar
Oh,
as well. Congratulations.
all right.
Is
Wow.
this was this the Sean's random championship updates for
Not
the
quite.
No,
pod this week?
no, I was just pointing out that we're getting one, possibly two of our midfielders back. And then I was asked about the Asian Cup. So I
Yeah,
had to
I threw a curveball at him.
quickly one hand Google Asian Cup.
It's okay. I want to round this out with a look at the title. Liverpool on 48 points, Manchester City on 43 points, though they have a game in hand. So let's just give them a victory there. They're 2 points behind Liverpool. Arsenal, Aston Villa are 5 points behind Liverpool. Who do you guys think realistically can win the Premier League this year? Who is going to win the Premier League this year? Brad, you look like you want to say something.
City. We all know this. Like the City run is coming. They got KDB back. They're gonna have Holland back soon. City.
Okay, Sean, do you want to be bold and pick somebody other than City?
Yes, I do. It's Tottenham, baby. Why'd you count out a little old Tottenham sitting
All
there
right, make
at
it
fifth?
make a claim. Make a claim for
I,
Tottenham.
we're all right. So we are 8 points off the lead and have everyone left to play in front of us.
True.
And they have to play everyone also that's in front of us. I don't think there's Liverpool haven't played City, Arsenal, or Villa or us yet.
Yeah.
So
So Liverpool have to go to Arsenal. Aston Villa have to go to Arsenal. Arsenal have to go to City. Arsenal have to go to Tottenham.
yeah. So there's some shaking and moving that's still to be done.
I don't know about the other situations. I just know about the situations involving Arsenal.
We still have a trip. We have a trip to Anfield, and we host City, we host Arsenal. Where was Villa? And we have to go to
Villa
Villa.
Park.
So, yeah. So and we also go to Stamford Bridge on the back half as well.
I think that the City Liverpool game is in Manchester.
I can find out shortly. Give me just a moment.
I could be wrong, but obviously I could be wrong.
It is at Anfield,
Oh, okay.
and it will be March 9th, in case you're curious.
I
So
am.
it's coming
I
up.
am curious.
It's coming up. It is coming up. That is basically a month away.
So you think you're getting like the 15 or 21 points you just listed off for you guys that you're gonna beat all
Yeah,
four of those teams?
why not? We're getting healthy. We're getting players back. Why not? We were leading at the end of 10 before we got hurt.
I mean, the
But
thing about it is,
why would I think anything different if we were healthy again? Why would I think differently?
so any of the teams that are going to win the team that's going to win the Premier League, and this is going to be the most brain dead thing I've ever said, is going to win the majority of these games. Like, and obviously that's true, but to Brad's point, like City every year goes on a 12-game win streak, not like a 12-game unbeaten streak, a 12-game win streak after January. Like it starts like mid-January, and they just don't start. They don't lose a game until like April or something like that. Like
Unless
that's what
yeah,
Brad's
literally,
money's on.
unless Chelsea stops them on the 17th of February, they're not losing until March 9th. Like there's not a chance for them to lose until Liverpool. They're walking Burnley, they're walking Brentford, they're walking Everton, they're walking Brentford again, they're walking Bournemouth, they're walking United. Like then they go into Liverpool, Brighton, Arsenal, Villa. Like that 4 weeks,
I'll lose all
the
four of
month of
those.
March will decide if City's gonna win,
Yeah,
which guess what?
Lose all
City's gonna win.
lose all four
four
of them.
games good. 4 games good. Come on.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Actually,
That's
nah.
not real.
Nah, you got to draw Liverpool. You got to lose to Arsenal. You got to lose to Brighton. Who is the other one? Tottenham?
Villa.
Villa.
Villa. Oh, you got to lose to Villa.
Yeah. There we go.
Like
See?
so
Where's your
like
sense of adventure, Brad? Come on. 4 game skid. Let's go.
Okay. Well, but this is the tact that Brad, as a Chelsea fan, has to take, right? Because he can't root for Arsenal or Tottenham to win. Like
Yeah.
metaphysically, he couldn't allow
no,
that to happen, right? Like that would be worst case
no.
scenario. Liverpool, he for some reason has a blood feud with Liverpool for whatever reason.
Look, every single like English Cup final has been against Liverpool and has gone to penalties.
Yeah, so that's a coin toss. So why do you hate Liverpool so much?
You're
It's
just
not
so
that I
wrong.
hate. I don't think I've ever said I hate Liverpool. I don't think I've ever actually said those words.
I feel like
I
I
don't
feel like I
like
asked you a
the
couple
debate
weeks
between
ago.
Trent and Reese.
I feel like I asked you a couple weeks ago who your least favorite like opponent, like if you couldn't have some, if it couldn't be your team, who would it be you'd want to win? And I think you were like Aston Villa or something like that.
Well,
And
out of these four, I think Aston Villa is the most interesting of those four teams at the top. Yes, that's consistent.
either way,
Because, like I said, it was like it'd be like Leicester. It'd be a Leicester season.
yeah, we don't need that.
And that's not trying to discredit Unai. Like I'm not trying to do that at all. But like when you looked at the teams at the beginning of the year, Aston Villa is the shocker.
Oh, for sure.
So
sure.
like that's what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to hate on any villains fans that we may have listening to us.
Well, Tottenham as well for different reasons. I mean, not selling Kane and bringing in unknowns. If you're saying at the beginning of the season, well, Tottenham as well, because I think everyone except
Selling
for
Kane,
me,
yeah, it's huge.
everyone except for me picked them to finish around 10th. So before the season, yeah, Tottenham would probably be. You probably all picked Villa to finish ahead of Tottenham. Imagine.
I would imagine. I think Villa,
I don't think
probably.
so.
I think I probably did. I don't
I don't
remember.
know. We gotta look at it again.
Well, what
Yeah,
do you guys think? What do you think, listeners of Red Card Radio? Who do you think is going to win the Premier League? Who do you think is going to get relegated? I'd love to hear from everybody in the comments. If you have an opinion, let us know. Hit us up on Twitter. We can be found. Brad is at KSBradG. Uh, Sean is at Whiteheart_Sean. I am at James Tiffany. Collectively, we can be reached at redcard_radio. Buffalo Wild Wings still waiting for that email
yes.
info.redcardradio@gmail.com for if you want to officially sponsor the Buffalo Wild Wings Bone to Pick segment. We would
Even
love to
just
have
free
you,
wings.
or
Even just free
literally
wings.
any
Yeah,
other
just give
company.
us some free wings or
any
free food like
any
we
other
hear.
company wants to sponsor that, we can change it to insert your company name here. Bone to Pick,
Yeah,
we're good with
yeah.
that
I
too.
And if it's food, it's even better. But whoever wants to sponsor us, we're in.
Yeah, I will plug anything. I am
Yo,
shameless.
pay Brad in 3 Twinkies and he's ready to go.
Let's go.
Absolutely.
We will be back next week. I think probably getting back to 2 episodes, unless you guys let us know in the comments that you really love 1 episode a week. We'll probably go back to 2, but we will see. We don't know what the future holds, but until then, we really do hope you guys enjoy some Premier League football. There's midweek games starting on Tuesday, yesterday, Wednesday, today, Thursday, tomorrow, and then Saturday, Sunday, Monday coming up. So there were so many games we couldn't just pick random games to talk about. So we just kind of wanted to go with the overview today. But we will chat with you guys soon. Have a good one, and thanks for listening.